Volume 15. We go to Austin now. Mentioned I know him, fire chief. Showed you that clip of him. I think I've been there. Maybe. I think that's where the art center was in the mall. Mom was a member of that. They've had a couple different things there, like a chili feed and something else. Can't remember. It's the art center, of course. Ouch. That'd be bad if they ripped the Vikings 24/7 every day, every hour of every day of the week. It'd be pretty bad. Unless you're a Dolphins fan, of course. Before I know her, not know her personally, but I know her, I've heard of her. Well, there's ours. Yeah, I recognize that name. It's in 86, so I think he was pastor for a little bit. Then he moved on and we had another one. And I don't recognize that Kenneth Williard. And Dad drove the church van for a while. Bridgman's mentioned that before. A lot of times people will talk about it in like the you're from Austin, Minnesota or whatever. Facebook groups. Holly's Timeout, that's really good. You know where that is. Let's see. Yeah. Yep. What's this now? Or was. Now this was funny. One time we were there, and there was these two women that were sitting, let's see, right towards the entrance there, so right about where that is, the little pin there, I'd say. They were sitting there near the entrance, and one of them was kind of 3 sheets to the wind. And some people came in and they said, hey, how are you doing? And that lady said, well, who the hell are you? Nancy Corners, that's pretty good. I told you about that. And it became something else. Then it was like a gang shooting there. I heard a whole bunch of police sirens one night, so I turned on the scanner. Let's see, B&E Grill. A lot of criminals go there, but I don't know if they've ever had a B&E there. Anyway, the steer, let's see. I think it might have been more that thing is here. This hotel. I think this is the one we stayed at before we moved into our house, like the night before. Well, there's a smoke alarm over there, but modern. But I guess if there's any modern fans there, there it is. Just a 997 or I-12060 or whatever. And there's a Wheelock MT. Probably L7, just like my apartment building. System Center 2400s there. So I think it was this. It's 3301. So that was pretty good too. Great Wall. Heard of it. Steve's Pizza. That's really good. Right there. Oh, they still have chicken on their awning there. Because sadly they don't anymore. I don't think. I can remember they have really good chicken. Then when we moved here, had chicken in a place called Grandma's Kitchen. And also it tasted almost exactly the same. Well, I guess they have strips. And then it was like, I think it was like last year. We went there and the chicken was crossed out of the menu. So we asked them and they said that their supplier closed down and they tried other ones and it just wasn't satisfactory to people, so they crossed it off the menu. So then I looked at their menu here and yep, they didn't have it anymore either, so they probably got it from the same supplier. Oakleaf, that's the one that I'm telling you, I think have the 10-inch Blake drain, the star in the middle, according to Mom at least. Taco John's, there's in them. Or no, 3 lane. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought. That was a popular hangout for high school because, well, high school's right there. So if people didn't take their lunch or, eat in the cafeteria, they'd just come here. And after school, too, I think it was a popular hangout. Anyway, Blue Haven, that's Brownsdale. Oak Grill, that was pretty good. What's this one? Oh, man. Yeah, I definitely would have been to that auction. A little more recent. Gonna be heading out to a concert pretty soon. Gonna be at an assisted living facility. If you follow my concerts, it's the one that the harmonica guy, Dale, plays at, or lives at. Yeah, I remember him. I don't think I ever met him, but heard of him. Then, what is it? Newspapers. The main one, 15, I think, or something like that. Actually, I think I misnumbered this one, so I'll restart that. Redo that one. Anyway, yeah, the newspaper's 15, I think it is. I mentioned that my brother Jeff's other son's coming up in his family. They'll be here later this afternoon, and they'll take a hotel because their two daughters want to swim. I kind of figured that would be the case too, because they like swimming, just like yours truly. Even though I haven't been in quite a while, I remember that. Stephen Plaza Mall, I'm not sure where that is. Brick Furniture, yeah. Not sure if I ever mentioned that, but they have a really old elevator, the one that's manual. So it has the gates, then you actually have to manually operate it. You don't have a COP like modern elevators do. There's the Radio Shack. We got our IBM computer there in 95. I used it for music and stuff. Then I got my newer ones. I gave it to Dad, and he used it for years and years for like financial recaps, medical recaps. Then he got a laptop, and it's in the recycling, sadly. It's an IBM Aptiva 2144 M63. Continuing on. That's pretty nice. Those Old Park Cinemas. No, it's something else now. That's the only part of the mall that remains anymore. I think it's Cinemagic now. Been a while. The old Civic Center, that's right over here. There's that again. I remember those. Those were quite fun seeing that. I wonder how they got in there, though. I mean, I got them in there. I think it was probably the entrance by Shopko. Could I see that anymore? Does that exist? I think it might. Well, it changed, but I think it would have been what this entrance is now. And I think all of those doors could open so they could bring the cars and stuff in. One night I had this really bad nightmare. I came in to that entrance and my left leg was kind of experiencing some resistance, if you will. I looked down. I was chained to my mom's skull. The hair and everything. So yeah, that's scary. Anyway, now, talking about swimming and dreams, here's this area I have a dream of once in a while, the pool area. And this would never happen in IRL because this is the inside. So this would be the men's locker room here, right here. And then the ladies would be right here. And then there's this kind of open area. Then the showers are over here. But right in this area, big dream. And there was like tables too in a later dream. Yeah, it was like, here, wait. Let's kind of zoom it out a little bit. So yeah, this would be the lockers. A little breezeway, showers. And you go outside to the pool here. But yeah, like right in here, big drains. Anyway, they were like this, but awfully big. But yeah, they had that pattern, potato masher as I call them. Go to 87, and keep an eye on the time. And classifieds again. I don't know if you ever know it. Do I have clips? I don't think I do anymore. Back in Austin, which is of course what we're looking at. Anyway, yeah, on the KUS, 9 o'clock to 10 in the mornings. Weekday mornings, they'd have what's called classified, but with a K. And people would call in, like, advertise something to buy or sell or trade or whatever. And I'd call in for smoke alarms, of course. And yeah, I think I mentioned this somewhere. Or maybe it was captions. I think it was captions in one of the concerts. Anyway, more regular callers would have their own like theme song. So there was a lady from the Humane Society where her song was this.
How much is that dog in the window?
But mine was smoke detector guy. So we have colored numbers like number 1, number 2, number 3. So when I get to my turn, and the else would say, "Is it smoke detector guy?" And I'd say, "Yup." And that's a new one. And I either say yup or nope. So then of course I'd advertise. Mom and Dad's. The accounts run pretty good. You could probably tell him Mom and Dad's again. They're talking about tornadoes. Yep. Yeah, when we did in high school, I remember one year, it was just near the end of the school year, and the sirens went off. Tornado warning. So we all went down, and by the time it expired, the period was about over, so we didn't have to take the finals. A lot of people were pretty happy there. Obviously, I've never been to an elementary school in Austin. Well, that's a lie. I was in Banfield once for a couple of activities with Jess. And yeah, I was in Southgate too. My worker Rob and daughter Rose had an event or had a thing there. Let's see. Ellis Middle School. I wonder what they would have had back then. Because I know when it got rebuilt, and when I went, it had a high-low sound. Here, let's see. It did this. Now, this is not Austin, but in Van Buren in Janesville, it had a siren and it did this. I was there for a tornado drill once. Let's see. Yep, I recognize her. Her husband had an airplane, or maybe still does. Let's see. Houston, no, don't recognize it. Who's Weber, Kenny, and Diggins, Rowan Wilson. Don't recognize a lot of these for some reason. Oh, but I recognize her. Right there, Suzanne. She was like the teacher of our confirmation class. And then I think I told you, or no, I mentioned in the captions Then she went off to perform a group, Tapestry they were called. And then they were coming here to Austin. I guess not here, this is Rochester. They were coming to Austin, and their drummer was sick, so she got a hold of us, and I played drums for him. Yep, I remember him too. Next, we can go on a little tangent here. Alright, a little tangent here. The church. Obituaries. 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 There's going to be a lot of obituaries, actually. Maybe. No, but... Obituary again. Yeah. And yeah, there. I remember him, too. Yeah, I lived in a pretty cool house. I think I mentioned in this, like a Sears smoke line video. Let's see. It had a living room, and then the upstairs hallway had like a railing around it. And then they had a low level and a basement. They had a couple daughters. One of them was just his age. Oh, yeah. There's something not relating to obituaries. Yeah, that's pastor there, I think. Or maybe that was... I don't know, it didn't really look like him. I think that's him. I remember we had this talent show when they were doing this remodel. So like the staff of the church, not really the staff, but staff, yeah, just staff. Anyway, they came up with a 12 days of Christmas, but 12 days of building. 11th day of building. Worker said to me, refuge in a parlor, and it will be very noisy. And that was, I think it was Mark actually just slamming a broom on the stage downstairs. Sadly, they never put any fire alarm system in. Because what they were working on it was when there was a couple of church fires. Heating system. Is that a little fan there? I think it is. I definitely take your hand for that. But anyway, speaking of fans in the church, if you're in any fan forums and stuff, like the old DTVF forums, you probably heard me talk about the fans that they had here, the church. They were two huge Fresh and Air pedestal fans with two blades on them. Oh, this one. Way a little sidebar. They're pretty good. That's right. That's right. Yeah, she did play with that group too, and of course she did play flute. I mentioned that in the Preserves video a couple years ago for Moon Dance, and ironically we played that tonight for a concert. Jeez, deadline for advance sale just today. If I remember right, I got up there and played Wipe Out for everyone. He allowed me to do that. There's TV. Oh yeah. I remember this lineup. Now it's 3, of course. That's right, check. 7 USA, yep. Yeah, TBS was 11 back then. TSMQ, Fortune's National Network. And then later on it was the public access. Also, last night at our concert, an alarm went off. You know, listen. Sounds like an advance, maybe more like an MT. And as you heard, we kind of hesitated too, because we almost thought it was a fire alarm, but then we realized, of course, modern fire alarms do temporal 3. And they have advances there, white ones, So I asked one of the ladies after we got done, she said it's an alarm from the memory care section. If you don't close the door completely, it'll go off. Check this one. Auction, let's see. New home fire alarm units. I wonder what they would have been. 89. And also last night too, we did Walk On By. And if you read my caption, I think it was that first time or maybe the second time we ever did that song. I think it was the second time, maybe the first. But anyway, yeah, the first time we ever did that song was last year, January 19th, I think. And that was the same day I lost the auction to the 360, MGB 360. But then we played it yesterday, like I said, and yesterday was the 1 year anniversary of me obtaining this 360, which we're thinking could have been the same one that I lost out on. What? Of course, stupid Ohio. Yeah, KSMQ. Of course, you just saw this Channel 12. Like, what? Channel 12 cable. This is Channel 15 normal. I think I missed a part in one of the last installments about a local governor or government official. If I can find it, I'll splice it in here. Hearing it. I remember this was kind of weird. It was like a radio commercial. All these little kids sang about him. It was like some Yamaha electronic organ or something like that in the background playing it too. That is where I talked about him in this commercial. Retirement. June 16th. That's why I barely recognized him. He was only there for a couple months when we moved in. And who knows how long it took us to actually join after we moved. Anyway, let's see. I mentioned her when I talked about her daughter several volumes ago when I was still in the high school, like the honors class or whatever. Yep. There. That's the one I talked about. And I remember her. She was really good. Chanticleer. I wonder if... I think Mom would have been part of that at that time. I was for a little bit too later on. Let's see. Oh yeah. Was it then? 2 years ago. No, it wasn't. It wasn't then because that would have been only a couple years after we moved. So I think it was this one. You know, it's one of the students. Alvaro is the name of us. We learned like baño is bath. I think he was on the younger side, so probably 12 or so. And then remember we got him from the airport too. So yeah, that was pretty cool. And like a year later or something, we got a letter from him. Probably should head up pretty soon. I'm running low on time. Here's something I forgot to mention. This one. Memorial Parlor. So that's what they meant during that talent show. When they're saying, refuge in the parlor. And yeah, like I said, we just moved there, so it's the old hospital. It's right here. Before it became health system. It was Austin Medical Center, and then the hospital was St. Olaf. So in the medical center, they had the Gamewell F7 detectors and a couple of beta alarms. And then in the hospital, like in the lab, they had these cool Unitech alarms. I think I mentioned that in a volume. And then in the hospital, too, they had these colored stripes. So, like, red was emergency, green was x-ray, blue was, like, lab. I think I mentioned this, too. If you've ever played the original Half-Life or Black Mesa Source, you'll see. Yeah, just like this. So, like, if you wanted to go to the lab, you just follow the blue stripe and lead you to the lab. I think the yellow was for the hospital floors, too. I think I remember that. And then, let's see. I think after that, Suzanne became the associate pastor. And after that, after she moved and joined those two bands, we had another one. See if I can find him. Because there's some smoke alarm related connections to him. Oh, there he is. Here. Dismiss that. And we're running out of time. So myself, my dad, he and his wife all went to a MasterCard demonstration at the hotel, Holiday Inn. I mentioned this before too. The presenter, she had an SA-76RD. It was in kind of bad condition because, she'd go all around the state at least. So just like a box fan, a couple of the bars on it were broken, sadly. And at his house, he had the Code 2000s, and I thought possibly they actually had the auto test, because I think I remember him mentioning something about that. Something else I was trying to think of. If I remember, I'll put it in the next volume, because this one's close to getting long. Anyway, there you go, folks. Thanks for watching.